Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Choco the Chocobo, and I am back with some more Advanced Warfare kind of setup, tactical stuff. I forgot what I officially called it. Let me go look it up real quick. So, Class Tactics to Advanced Warfare. You might have heard a little bit from the channel just now with the Do You Want to Planet Alpha parody. I just have to look it up real quick. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a little bit more of these class setups, and today we have something kind of weird, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to click their tongues and be like, Chocobo, why would you ever do this? But you know what? If you don't like camping, and that's what we're going to be covering, it's going to be another 3, because I think I'm going to do them in 3s in general, because most of them do come in 3s in my head. But in my head, there's kind of 2 major things you should take away from these things. Number 1 is how to set them up, because if you know how to set them up and stuff, it can be, tactically speaking, a really good choice. Now, sometimes it's just a really bad idea, but especially if you're playing with people who know how to smoke you out. Ooh, dang, I just got rocked. But, you know, it is what it is, and you just kind of have to roll with it. But, so what we're doing right now is we're going to be using the camper still one. Oh, and the second thing is that if you know how to set them up, you also kind of should know what their weaknesses are. That's the goal. But, you know, it is what it is. So, we're using the camper still. And camper still is basically, it's not actually really good on this kind of map, but I'll try to figure out a way to make this work. It's because this map is really crap lanes. Oh no! Wow, we're getting smoked. But yeah, alright, so camper still. Premise behind this class is that you effectively want to, oh, well, this is bad. But basically what you want to be doing is you want to basically stay very, very still. Like your operating area is very, very small, and in exchange for having a relatively small AO, you get a little bit more control over that specific area. You're super defensive at this point. And what this can be helpful for is if you play this on a map like CTF, Domination. I forget the way that CTF works exactly in Advanced Warfare, but if you're specifically aiming to just like guard one spot, it's not super important that you have to live or whatever else. The important thing here is that you just hold that ground for as long as you possibly can. Now, it's scumbaggy, admittedly, you know. No one likes the camper. No one likes the guy that hangs out in the back. But it is what it is, and it can get some good production for you. And more importantly, it brings focus to you. Now, one thing that is 120% optional with this strategy is that you definitely do want to consider moving around if and only if you've gotten maybe a couple or so kills and you feel like you can safely kind of traverse the map at least a little bit. If you feel that you can and you think that's, you know, something that you can definitely pull off, then sometimes switching locations to another camping spot is okay. But your class, you have to understand that the weakness of your class is that you cannot very well you're not going to have a good time trying to move around. It's not very mobile. And we'll discuss what kind of perks and stuff I have in a moment here, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. You'll notice that my streaks haven't changed. These are just because I'm trying to figure out the lobbies, and this is generally true across the board. If you want to actually kind of figure out your lobby or whatever else, which is very smart, you should definitely try to learn about your lobby before you commit to a set strategy, because, you know, sometimes you get people that are just like really aggressive, and then you have to play differently depending upon how aggressive they are. Sometimes you get people that are just super campy, and you have to kind of adjust for it. So you definitely should try to kind of test out the lobby, and of course, if you run lower streaks, you're always going to have some form of impact through the streaks, hopefully, unless you get completely wrecked and shut down. But that is what it is. So let's talk about positioning. So right there, I got wrecked because I am really bad at this game. But more importantly, it's very easy to put yourself in a very, very bad position with this kind of class if you are not, if you don't limit the areas you can get hit from. Now, what I mean by that is if you're in an open field and you can get shot any 100 different ways, you're not going to have a good time using this class because you have to basically try to stay still. You're trying to make sure that You're trying to make sure that you can hold down one location. And, ooh, usually it's a choke point, right? That's just generally the way it goes. But if you're in an open area and you can get hit from any number of directions, then how can you possibly expect to hold an area? And more importantly, what area are you holding? So definitely something to keep in mind. And also, one thing that I will say right now is because I'm not sure about the mechanics of what Preston, Kenny, and myself will probably refer to as wallbanging, being able to shoot through the walls is something that is obviously can be very important. I am running FMJ right now, so for Black Ops 2, it does give me a little bit more bullet penetration. It's not the greatest in Black Ops 2, but it is still pretty handy. More importantly, it lets me shoot down streaks because I do not have Scavenger on this class, and we'll talk about that later. Oh, got wrecked. Is it waiting for me to come back? But obviously, it has pros, it has cons. I am not a huge fan of this class, but a couple people requested that I do a camping class, and it is something that is very helpful. I am also using the tracker sight, so let me turn this music down just a wee bit here, because that's a little bit on the loud side. So you do want to have, probably for this, some form of tracker-ish sight. If you have some form of tracking sight, then what ends up happening is you can, you know, trace through smoke, whatever else. And that is actually fairly important considering the position that you're going to be likely in, which is, if you are, of course, camping your heart out, you want to be able to identify your targets really rapidly, and more importantly, if they obscure your vision, or you're not terribly good at acquiring targets, this will let you just kind of cut out the middleman and go straight for just shooting at the enemy, reducing it mostly to gunplay. Now obviously there's some extra stuff that's entailed in there, but effectively that's what you're doing with these things. Again, not a huge fan of this strategy. I personally am not very good at it. Even if you watch me whenever I'm being absolutely ludicrous and silly and I'm just using LMGs, I don't like tracker sights, / this is the target finder. I don't like using them. I feel like it's a waste. But at the same time, you have to admit that you'll see a lot of people, I'm sure, in any lobby that you're playing, regardless of what platform you're playing on. Yeah, like right there, wallbang was pretty important. But regardless of what platform you're on, being able to control the situation is pretty handy. Now, every now and then I do this, and this is legitimately just suppressing fire, except I ran out of bullets at the absolute worst time. Oh, God! Oh, my lord! I guess he didn't realize I was there. Oh, that was bad. Alright. But, you know, it is what it is. And again, if you... Number one, it being another strategy to add to your whole list of strategies that you're going to be using, definitely not a bad thing to have more. And certainly is something that you can learn from. Because, you know, the camping mentality, sometimes people don't really think about it. If you're playing against it, you're just like, oh, that's so lame. But there are ways to circumvent campers, right? Their lack of mobility means that off-spawn, they are pretty vulnerable to being picked off. In addition to that, you also have to remember that as campers, because you know the general position, you can take advantage of that by lobbing grenades, whatever else. But you can also kind of just leave them be. If you leave the choke point, if it's not necessary to have, just let it be. Just leave it alone. Even if it is extremely important, if it's a highly trafficked lane, there's only so much they can do, and they still need to set up. So the kind of downtimes between camping is whenever they're most vulnerable, right? Every now and then you'll see riot shielders and stuff like that and whatever else. It doesn't particularly matter, but the major premise being that you want to be able to contribute to your team by holding a point. Conversely, if you're trying to hold that point and that's your main job, this person is not going to get high streaks probably unless you really get wrecked and you just keep on going to the meat grinder and whatever else. But generally speaking, you should be able to circumvent them. What is this music? What in the world? No thank you. Alright, so real quick, this is the class. Note that I do have the campy perks on, and I don't know what that's going to translate into. Flak jacket, tactical mask, whatever the equivalents are, you will need them because they will try to flush you out with nades. I have trophy systems to help me with that as well, but it is what it is. Of course, I do have cold-blooded, which will help me kind of avoid detection, and then blind eye, which will make sure that if they do hit a higher streak, I don't get immediately murked by by, you know, air support. Now, I am not using the ideal, per se. I am not using the ideal bit of whatever, what have you, in terms of LMG. Like, the actual weapon choice is not the greatest. But what it is pretty good at doing is it has a very large clip, so I don't have to worry about ammo conservation too terribly much. I do have to worry about it a little bit, but not so much that it's going to be a major issue. And this is why target finder on these kinds of maps are really handy. This map's actually pretty bad for this class because, again, you have open lanes. You have this map is a little bit too open, but you can get some production out of it. I mean, campers will always just be annoying to deal with just because they're campers, but you can get some production on this kind of map. Oh, got wrecked. But yeah, very simple, very straightforward. I'm sure it's not something that's too complicated. I do carry a rocket launcher around just because I do like to still have a shot, like a decent shot, of getting to some score streaks, to being able to call in some form of support for the team. This is not your, for lack of a better way to put it, this is not your carrying class setup, right? This is not a class that you're going to be running in Rambo style and just wrecking face, calling in swarms and getting Moabs or nuclears or what have you. It's just not that kind of class. But in exchange, you do get to have a very stable role. It is something that you can kind of use to kind of improve your position and standing. So definitely something to keep in mind. Alright, looks like that guy just got picked off down there. But also, use your teammates' deaths effectively in this class, and that's true across the board, but particularly for this kind of class, right? Whenever you're really limited in terms of where your position is, you can't really just like scout around, so you're really heavily reliant upon like contextual information, UAV, teammate death, stuff like that. And so, because you are sort of reliant upon contextual information, you have to be super aware of it. You want to make the most use out of whatever you can. And getting the most money for, or the most bang for the buck, so to speak. Ooh. Yeah, like that right there. Saw some teammates went down. Saw the little red indicator on the minimap. Go straight for it. Now, in Advanced Warfare, the minimap is kind of going back to the old school style. And these things are worth a lot of points, even if I don't intercept them. Yeah. Oh. But yeah, you do get a lot of work and production from each UAV sweep minimap indication, and because of the way that Advanced Warfare is apparently heading towards, you can definitely expect that your minimap intel to be very helpful. There's something that expands your minimap, is my understanding, and stuff like that. So definitely some cool things to keep in mind going into it and kind of customizing your own strats. Oh, that RCXD though. Alright. Oh, I got wrecked. So, a lot of times, like, whenever you see campers though, you will notice that they do sometimes run things like extended bags. FMJ is not, honestly, it's not very efficient, but it's more of a, almost a talking point, I say. Just because it is important, you have to remember that if you're tracing targets, you want to try and get as many bullets into the enemy as possible, or at least around them. And you do want to be able to kind of spook them and say, hey, you're not really safe behind that wall, you're not really whatever. And that will give your guys a little bit more leeway in terms of like what they have to work with. Holy smokes. Yeah, but this is the issue right now with this map and this class. It's just way too open. Let me see if I can get a clear shot of this escort drone. Alright, there it goes. Oh, and also, added bonus to target finder, is if you have no freaking clue what's going on, you can also use it to scout real quick. You just really quickly, like, just pan through the map, look around, see if you get any kind of tracking markers and stuff like that, and then just let the bullets fly. It does give you a little bit more peace of mind for sure, being able to say like, oh yeah, I'm pretty certain that there's no one in this direction based on my target finder having found absolutely nothing. There, like right there, I just saw a red diamond flicker, so I know there's someone in this direction, but not quite sure where. Let's pop this UAV. Okay, so they're all by the that lower. Oh, there's one. You're basically a sentry gun, actually. That's a pretty good way to think about this, I suppose. You're effectively a sentry gun. You know, kind of think about yourself as a sentry gun in terms of your placement, but you can move a little bit. And you also are a little bit more flexible in terms of, like, your target acquisition doesn't have to be, like, the fastest thing in the world. Oh, no! I didn't get it, did I? Oh, weak. Well, they re-rolled it? What? Oh, that is booby-trapped. Like, 120% booby-trapped. I kind of want to just open it. So, not a good attitude for me to definitely have, but I really just want to open a booby-trapped crate, because I haven't seen that a terrible lot. What in the world's going on here? Alright, whatever. We're going to play, like, really awkward, like, not campy for a moment. Oh! Oh, no! I just want to reach the crate. Oh, yes! It's 120% booby-trapped, but I just want this crate really badly. Hold on, guys. Alright, I should be able to get there with this. But again, not my favorite class, but something that I do want to call attention to. Yeah, you can see right there, I can tell it's booby-trapped. I want to open it, though. I don't care, I know it's an explosive. No! I wanted to go out a champion! But anyways, oh my god, make this stop. Please, just... Nope, I'm just gonna stop it. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Advanced Warfare, Class Tactics Advanced Warfare, rather. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below. Comment below kind of what you'd like to see in the future. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you are hyped for Advanced Warfare and you're new to the channel and want to get more Call of Duty / first-person shooter content. And I may consider... Well, hold on, real quick thing to everyone. I'm not doing this on Ghost as much. I might set up class tactics videos, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hit and miss with Ghost, especially with the spawns. But the reason why I'm using Black Ops 2 and not really going outside that range of like Modern Warfare 3, as much fun as Modern Warfare 3 is because the score streak system is extremely important because this opens up all kinds of venues for gameplay, right? It used to be that playing objective plus a little bit more was what you could do to get kill streaks, because they're called kill streaks, but score streaks are different because you can earn them from destroying equipment and stuff like that, so that's why I'm doing that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all next time.